It is going to be a very good morning, not just because it's the start of the weekend, but because of the weather. We're starting off with fairly mild conditions for summer standards. 68 with nice calm winds. Beautiful time to get outside. Maybe take your cup of coffee on the porch or outdoors instead of in the kitchen this morning. And that's going to be dropping our temperatures to below average. A lot of us in the Mid-South will be looking at that below average temperatures not only for the next couple of days, but all the way in through this upcoming Saturday. Like I said, these showers pop in and they move out quickly, but they will get you pretty wet. So 70, oh, there, you saw that one. There's something there. All right.
I am currently live outside of a local business in West Point, Prairie Livestock. And as you can see behind me, we have seen some structural damage. There's a big pile of metal rubble right outside of this building. And if you continue to look farther, the livestock buildings have also been destroyed.
The chance for some rain could come in or as early as Monday afternoon as that cold front sweeps through. But the main threat for just those heavier thunderstorms and more of a washout day comes Wednesday, which is unfortunately the start of classes. But Thursday, those storms could still linger. However, we are in need of some of this rain, especially farther out to our west over in Texas. They're in that extreme drought. Coming in a little bit closer to home, we're more on that moderate to marginal level drought. We're looking at a lot of shower and storm activity, not only coming up, but currently in our forecast. Taking a look at our storm track Doppler behind me, you can see those scattered isolated storms throughout the area. Some of us are getting some heavier downpours, but if we take a live look over in Blue Springs, some of us are still looking dry. You see some of that green in the area. That is not rain. Sometimes that radar will register bugs or birds flying around, so that's all that is.
Definitely in those rural areas, roadways are not safe to drive. Lots of debris in the roads and lots of trees down, as well as power lines.
We have a lot of good things to focus on this week ahead. We do. We have fall-like temperatures coming in.
Exactly.
There's a chance for some rain with Ian, depending on how westerly it comes, but really those rain chances will still be pretty minimal. But speaking of rain chances, we did see a lot of rainfall last night and into the overnight hours, and even as we started off our Sunday morning, a lot of that really centralized over near Grenada, stretching all the way down into Ackerman, and that is due to a cold front that's making its way in. Those storms were right ahead of that main line. Live look in Blue Springs, you can see that radiation fog that I was talking about earlier affecting a lot of our areas. This is a prime example of it. Once the sun really gets a chance to warm up our surface, it's going to get out of our hair. But if you are driving this morning, just something to be aware of.
Taking a look behind us, we do have that Road to Omaha sign. Ole Miss didn't have the easiest road to Omaha, as they did have that game that was washed out down in Florida thanks to that first hurricane that we got in our hurricane season. But I am happy to say that despite the heat, everything else is shaping out to be absolutely stunning for their first game here in Omaha.
It is an exciting weekend across Northeast Mississippi. We have got college football. It is going to be one of those rainier game days for a lot of us here with Memphis versus Mississippi State. 81 degrees by kickoff, and really the majority of the game looking to be in the upper 70s. But I would, in addition to the maroon, also have that rain gear handy. And speaking of heat, heat is always a hot topic here in Northeast Mississippi over the summer. So it's important to know the difference between temperature versus heat index. Now, while I might say the actual temperature is 97, what you really want to pay attention to is the heat index. That is not only the air temperature, it's coupled with relative humidity, and that's what your body feels like it is outside. So you do see that live look out in Tupelo, beautiful skies, definitely something that I would hang on my wall as well. Looks like a perfect painting. Part of the bonus of working early in the mornings, you always get to see the sunrises.
If you can see in my hand right now, this is what I picked up off the road. It's looking more like a sludge, so it's not strong accumulations, but it is turning into that sludge, and as the temperatures continue to plummet throughout the rest of the night, we could be seeing those roads beginning to get even more icy.
But it's still 30 degrees outside, so if you are out and about, I would say have a jacket, but definitely make them layers because it is going to be heating up today as that sun comes. But the sun isn't going to stick around. We do have our next weather maker. It's going to come in early Monday morning, but the main focus that we're tracking out is Tuesday early evening and Tuesday night.
Taking you a bit of a closer look into some of these knockdown trees and the damage that we saw earlier today. We focused on a lot of the metal roofing that came down, but this is just an example of that tree damage. It is a tree that is basically cracked in half. It is riding that line just on the road, but not quite there to affect the cars that are driving along the roadways.
So what are we watching as the next couple of days come by? We have our heat peaking by midweek, so peaking by tomorrow at around 92 degrees for our high for the week. We do have that cold front that's arriving Thursday, going to drop our temperatures around 10 degrees from 92 down to 83 as Friday rolls through. We do have that tropical development in the Gulf. We have the official start to hurricane season starting tomorrow. We did see a Category 2 hurricane hit Mexico. It did dissipate into a tropical storm, but As it reaches the Gulf, it could pick up some more steam and continue to develop. However, nothing that we really have to worry about here in North Alabama. Dark green over here is really what's adding to these feels-like temperatures. So while the air temperature might be 93, it's going to be feeling more like 96 outside today. Now, if we take a wider look, you see that drier patch of air, those lighter green colors over near Kansas. Now, that is a front that's going to be rolling in through our area, bringing us some drier conditions. So the feels-like temperatures are not going to be playing a factor as we head in through this work week.
Welcome back. 6:22 is the time, and we're getting our Sunday morning started off on the darker, soggier, and rainier side, and foggier as well.
Yeah,
What do you say?
I was going to say, you almost forgot foggier. A lot of us are seeing those foggy conditions this morning. Currently, right now, looking at our storm track Doppler radar, most of us getting that mostly cloudy skies. We do have some rain in the forecast, but thankfully we are remaining mostly dry as of right now. A live look in Oxford. This is one of our areas that was seeing fog early on. You can't see it really here, and it's starting to dissipate as the sun comes out. But we do have that relative humidity of 100%. Now, that means that our dew point is reaching our air temperature. You see that they're the same here, which means that relative humidity is 100%, and that does cause that foggy conditions that we were seeing not only in Oxford but in West Point early on this morning. Live this afternoon, temperatures are going to be in the lower 90s to upper 80s. Now, those of you who are experiencing more rain, which is going to be farther in our northern counties, will be still sticking out in the upper 80s for our high today, and those of us farther south, maybe give or take a couple degrees past that 90-degree point. Taking a look at our storm tracker, we do see the chance of maybe one little storm popping up by noon, but really we haven't gotten enough daytime heating to add into that convection for today. But once we get to 3 p.m. and we've had ample amount of sunlight, we will be seeing those storms start to amp up in our northern counties in our cities such as Holly Springs, Corinth, and Boonville. And then as we approach the early evening hours, 5 p.m., the storms start to amp up and become maybe a little more gustier in the ways of wind. So be aware of that, as well as localized flooding for today and throughout our Monday. Now, similar to yesterday, we are going to be seeing those conditions start to dry out, and the overnight hours we'll be just looking at those overcast skies. Now, Monday, still continue to have that rain gear handy that you had this weekend, because those of you in our northern counties, once again, you will be seeing some of that moderate rainfall, and then a lot of us getting maybe some slight scattered showers throughout the day, and then we should dry out by the evening hours. Now, we do have a flooding rainfall risk. We have some of us in that marginal risk, those of you in green, and then the slight risk, which are those of you in the yellow. Now, what this means is basically that the rainfall is exceeding the flash flood guidelines from around 25 miles of a given point. We already saw some of that flooding over in Lafayette County, so definitely if you see that water, do not try and go through it, and definitely it's better to turn around and don't drown. As we go into Monday, we are going to have our rainier conditions start to dry out a little bit, so most of us will then be under that marginal risk, and that slight risk is out of our hair. We need this though, because we are in a drought. Taking a look at our monthly rainfall for the month of July, days with rain, 9 total days. Now, we do have rainfall this month at 3 inches, and it's going to continue to add up as we are seeing this rainfall. And this month we were in a deficit, and this year we are also in a deficit, which adds to those drought conditions. So this rain is definitely welcomed. Over the next 7 days, we are going to be seeing those temperatures remaining fairly moderate. We will be back up into the mid to upper 90s by next Friday. We have those rain chances to contend with today and tomorrow, but they're going to start to taper off as we head into the work week, and really those rain chances there are just due to that daytime convection heating. Just pop up thunderstorms. They'll come and they'll disappear quite quickly, and it's really what we can expect to see this time of year in Northeast Mississippi.